Welcome back. You are listening to the For the Creatives podcast, and today I invite Judah Rajkumar on for an episode of Conversations with a Creative. We chat all things creative, and we chat about some of the stuff that he's doing and DC. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Welcome, Judah, to the For the Creatives podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, that's very nice of you. It's just happy to be here. How's your day been so far?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Slept in.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
What's a sleep in for you, though?
Well, this morning I woke up at 7:30 maybe.
Wow.
But I didn't get out of bed till 8:30, I think.
Yeah, geez.
So that's a sleep in.
Okay.
But yeah, so I slept in and then started organizing for this episode and picked up our coffee order.
Yep. Thank you for that, by the way.
On that, I saw this really interesting post a while ago.
Go on.
About what your coffee order reveals about you.
Good Lord. All right. Let's hear it. Go on. Stereotype me.
Before I mention what you ordered.
Yep.
So black coffee.
Yep.
The personality traits on this Psych Central website. The personality traits for black coffee are old school and purist. I don't even know what that means as a trait.
As in you just like beans. Yeah. Like
the light side, you keep things simple, you're patient, efficient. The dark side can be quiet and moody, abrupt and dismissive, sort of set in their ways, resistant to making change.
Yeah. I think they're describing like half of the characters from Star Wars is what they're doing. That's
yeah, Darth Vader.
Yeah, like that's how you describe Darth Vader, right? As moody and dismissive.
Can be quite moody.
Yeah, like I don't know what BuzzFeed website you got this from, but it's like they're like just straight up like stereotyping people who have black coffee. Yeah, you're moody.
There's a doctor's name on here, so
is there?
It must be somewhat true. There's a bunch of other it goes through other drinks, frozen drinks, decaf, instant coffee. But your order was an iced caramel latte.
Yeah, that's me.
So that falls under latte drinkers.
Okay.
So the personality traits on here.
Yeah.
Comfort seekers.
Okay.
People pleasers. Open book.
Tough.
Like to soften the bitterness of life.
Okay.
The light side.
Yeah.
Generous with time. Thank you for coming on here.
No, you forced me. You paid me a lot of money to be here.
Will go out of their way to help others.
Yep. Okay.
The dark side can get overextended. Doesn't always take great care of themselves as like an extreme dark side. What do you think about that?
Cool. I'm pretty sure that means that I'm like a Sagittarius. I don't know, man. I just like caramelized latte. I mean, yeah, it's a fairly good description of most people that I know, I guess. But I don't know.
It's like
like I always have iced coffee. I won't have a hot coffee
without offending anyone out there. Yeah. It's like how I feel about star signs. Okay.
Yeah. God bless you. Absolutely, God bless you.
Should I even go there?
No, I don't know. No, we've started it. Open the can. All right. Dig in.
People self-identify.
Yeah.
They wanna belong. They wanna be part of something, and they wanna they say if I'm a Cancer, which technically I'm a Cancer.
Okay.
I don't know why I looked directly into the camera.
No, you did. Yeah, I was like, good Lord, you just projected that you're a Cancer. Yeah.
But yeah, you can read a horoscope or something and be like, oh yeah, I identify with that. But I betcha, and I've seen that people have done this before. They've written up a bunch of different random horoscopes, given it to people and said, this is your horoscope. Yeah. With no backing or anything. And they just self-identify with it because they were told that that's what Cancer is or that's what this is. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like,
it's a
overly emotional. I'm like, we're humans.
Well, that's
pretty emotional creatures.
You just described everyone in my family. No, I mean, I think a big thing about star signs and even those, those quizzes that took off in Facebook around that 2010, 2015 through that period of time. Yeah. Where it's like, which spaghetti are you? I'm like, I don't know, man. I think people just did them because they wanted to give themselves an identity that they could then live out, Because a lot of people are trying to search for something that they feel comfortable with, and then a crowd of people that they can be along. So if you're like, I like fast cars, you're like, yeah, cool. All right. I also like fast cars. We just made a connection. Yeah.
It's like when you're on the playground at school. It's like, you like swings? I like swings. Let's be best friends.
You like eating sand? I love eating sand. I finished the full quarter last week. I'm like, buddy, yeah, okay. But that's kind of why I'm a Sagittarius. Which means that you're a Sagittarius, we should be friends, right? I'm like, no, come on, man. If you're you're a good person.
Apparently, you can't be friends with every star sign.
Really?
If you're like, I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Look, if you're listening and
Please
this is all loadable,
yeah.
just
in the comment section, just come at me. Just at
or
Elisha
cancel me,
Taderera.
okay?
No.
Publicity is good publicity.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. At Elisha Taderera, #cancel 2022.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But to introduce you officially to this episode, would you mind telling us a bit about yourself? Not what you do. We'll get into that later. We'll touch on that later. But who are you, Judah?
Who am I? Well, my name is Judah, spelled Judah. Yeah, I'm 23 years old. I'm a Christian. I think I'm just someone who wants to make the world a better place around me, I guess, creating an environment that I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. That's kind of me.
That's cool. That's awesome. And now, what do you do as a job?
So, I am a clinical exercise physiologist. Sounds fancy. It's not that fancy. I'm not doing like science stuff.
It's got three words in the job title.
Yeah,
it's fancy.
It's pretty good. But no, yeah, so I'm a clinical exercise physiologist, but I also teach or coach powerlifting and Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
So that's what I do in my like spare time, if I have spare time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then you have a few interesting hobbies as well and different like creative outlets and things on the side. What are some of those?
Oh, okay. Ooh, well, creative hobbies. Well, I love to draw, mainly because it's just a good outlet for me, I guess. Just if I'm picturing something in my head, I'll try and not only visualize it in my brain, but try and like visualize it on paper. So I draw a lot. I love collecting comics. That's like a big thing for me. I'm a nerd, yes, and I fully accept that. I'll wear the badge.
DC or Marvel?
DC. Yeah.
Nice.
I feel like you asked that as a question instead of just telling me like, oh, why do you like DC? I'm like, yeah. I feel like you posed that as a question. Like there were two possible answers there.
I prefer Marvel.
Yeah. And God loves you too, man. I guess God loves you, so I don't have to, right?
Oh, wow.
No, I mean, take that, man. That's you. Bless you. I mean, you're more than entitled to your opinion. I just grew up, I think, more with DC.
Yeah.
So,
By the way, you just reminded me of that viral video with Jack Harlow and the interviewer girl. Did you see that? And I can't remember how it goes. He was like, love ya. And she was like, bless ya, love ya, bye, or something like that.
And she just broke down.
And then she just started laughing out loud.
Yeah.
It just went viral.
Yep.
Bless ya, love ya, bye. I think I got that wrong, but
what was her name? Emma Chamberlain? Yeah.
Emma Chamberlain.
She was a YouTuber, wasn't she?
Yeah,
is
TikToker.
I wouldn't know.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I'm not cool. I'm not with the hip kids nowadays. Being 23, you know, I've kind of been through the past.
You're just starting.
I went through Nam, yeah. Yeah. Look, the only other big thing that I do is like I grew up reading, watching Lord of the Rings, all those kind of big stuff, like fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
So I was always fascinated by that and the creativity behind it, for the fact that, you know, Tolkien even wrote like genealogies for everyone that lives in the Shire. That's how crazy it was. Invented his own language, own map, everything, you know? So like I play D&D a lot. I love D&D.
And is it a game master? Is that the
title?
title?
So a game master, or like a D&D, like a dungeon master, DM. So that's me. So
what do you do as a game master?
So I basically run the game for all intents and purposes. So the voices, creating the world, creating opportunities, missions, quests, etc.
Writing out stories.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I think I was telling you this before, like yesterday. Right now, the campaign that I'm in, it's getting to a point where like certain things are happening and people are so involved. Because it's been like the 20th episode just finished last week. And I call them episodes because it's easier for me. Yeah. But like essentially we've invested like 3 to 4 hours per session, sometimes even longer. So on average, if we're going at like, let's say 4 hours, 4 by 20 is 80 hours that we've spent in. Yeah. So much so that like when something scary happens or something happens to a person's character, like they're messaging me the day after. They're like, I had a nightmare about this, and I'm like, oh, good Lord.
That's invested.
Yeah. And it's fun because like all those around our table come from different walks of life. Yeah. Different religions, different, you know, just ethnicities, different ways of living, so on and so forth, and occupation. And none of that matters when we're on the table. Yeah. Because like we're at the table and we're playing with each other. Yeah. You know, and I love that. I love that D&D can do that because some of the people that were playing with us are really, really shy, don't come out of their shell. But when they're playing D&D, oh man, they're cracking jokes. They're having fun. They're pulling out like insane ideas. And I'm like,
That's
wow.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's cool. I like it.
It's nice to have those creative outlets around that. Like, one thing I've found interesting recently is how our current like generation is trying to monetize almost every creative passion. Like, it's like, oh, you like photography. All right, well, how can you make money out of it? Oh, you like this. How can you make money out of it?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's so good just to have some outlets that you don't need to monetize, that it doesn't need to be a career. It's just like something that you do because you enjoy it, because it recharges you, because you're passionate about it. And having that sort of perspective on things rather than, oh, I need to play guitar because I need to become good at it so I can become, unless you're a singer and you want to do that.
Yeah.
But just like a lot of our side passions and things, I find we're trying to monetize too much.
Like a side passion becomes a side hustle very quickly, you know? And I like what you said where it was like, you keep it in a way where you do it to recharge yourself.
Yeah.
So I know that especially after a week, and sorry to make this about me, but like
this is your episode.
Bless. Yeah, actually you can turn your mic off. Like having a massive week can be very, very draining, especially with the job that I have.
Yeah.
It's very draining. But knowing that I can, you know, take a little bit of time to prepare a game for that night, and when we get there, I feel so much better after that night because I'm like, I just had so much fun with like 7 other people at the table, and it was all around little plastic dice, you know, polyhedral dice. So it's fun, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's like that quote. I don't agree with it in every context, but when you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
I can't apply that to everything I do.
Because you don't love being on this podcast with me. That's fine. No, it's fine.
No, but you didn't have to say it. This podcast is something I enjoy doing. Like, not getting paid for it, not making money out of it.
Not yet. Shout out Coca-Cola.
Even if I wasn't, like, hearing people's stories, chatting with them, and being able to document that, like, it's not work for me. Like, I'm happy to do it and make time for it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
You touched on as well with your job, how it can be quite draining. So you're a clinical exercise physiologist. Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So you deal with a lot of patients with helping them like take the next steps, like in their recovery, is it, with fitness? And what we've spoken a bit about like mental health on a few of these episodes. How important is your own fitness to you with your mental health and in your life?
Yeah, great question actually. So growing up, I was kind of just bred for sport or bred for academic success. So like my whole life kind of revolved around eyes were only watching me if I accomplished something. Yeah. And that came through sport more often than anything. So for a lot of it, sport was not only a creative outlet or something I did for fun, it was I need to do this so I can get validation. After that all quit and I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Went through mad episodes of just depression, you know? But then I got back into working out and I'm like, you know what? I don't need anyone to look at me. I don't need anyone's validation. I don't need to get a medal or certificate or like a photo anywhere. I'm just happy to do this because I know that I'm going to feel much, much better tomorrow. Yeah. And what I'm doing today is setting me up better for tomorrow. And I know that for my mental health, if I'm not working out at least once a week, if I'm not even getting out there, if I'm just moving a barbell, like an empty barbell, still 20 kilos. Yeah. That's a small kindergartner. If you try to pick one of them up, they're wild.
No, they move too much.
Exactly. Yeah. But like making sure that I make time to work out. Yeah. For me, it feels like I'm making time for myself. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's really cool. And I think it's really important for us to have like an understanding of self, like an understanding of, you know, what we need, what recharges us, but also at a bit of a deeper level, like understanding like, I guess, who we are, which takes time and that's a journey in itself. But I think when we have a really good understanding of self and we have a good understanding of like why we do the things we do, what we're interested in, what recharges us, I think that can really fuel our creativity and fuel our anything, really fuel the work that we do, the projects that we're involved in, and give deeper meaning as well to what we do. Because I think everyone has, this is before the Creatives podcast, we talk a lot about creativity. I think
plug. That's your snippet. That's what you use for the episode.
True.
Yeah.
But I believe that we are all creative. We all have the ability to create things. That could be new ideas. That could be new products. That could be new ways of looking at things, like new perspectives. But it could also be just creating safe environments or creating good communities or creating, healthy families as well.
Absolutely.
Like all of that is part of us creating and giving back to the world, creating something of meaning in the world. So one of the questions I have is, which you sort of touched on a bit earlier, but it's like, do you believe that you can make an impact or a change, a positive impact or change in the world? What's your take on that?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. On the world. So positive impact, don't look at it as I'm going to impact the world.
Yeah.
Because the world is like 8 billion people. Good luck. Yeah, you're not Justin Bieber. Even now, there are people who don't know who Justin Bieber are, which is preposterous. But it's the truth, right? Like, people don't care. But a quote that, really hit me when I was really young, mainly because it was on the wall and I hit into that wall, was you can't help everyone, but you can help someone.
Yeah.
So for me, if I can help somebody, that then equips them to help somebody else. And like the gym that I work at, if someone comes in and they're trying to learn something and I can see them from across the gym that they're having a little bit of trouble, they're not my client, they're just someone who paid to come to the gym. I'll go over and be like, hey man, is it cool if I just give you a couple of tips? Like, you can fully say no if you want to. More often than not, it's like, yeah man, if it's gonna help me, sure. I'm not looking for anything monetary in return, right? I'm not asking them to help me do my job or anything like that. But suddenly I can't even tell you how many times after I've done that, the next day or the next week or a few weeks down the line, I see them helping someone else. And I'm like, cool, that's not because of me, but I helped pay that forward. You know what I mean? So I don't think I can impact the world, but I can impact the world around me.
Yeah, that's awesome. You can impact your world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're a part of my world, Elisha.
Oh, stop it.
Notice how I whispered? I didn't want the mic to hear it. Yeah.
They're pretty strong mics.
Oh, God. Can we edit, cut that out.
No, that's really cool. I love those. I love that perspective. I love that take on it.
Thank you.
And just jumping back to, like, I guess, creativity. What is your definition of creativity? Like, when you think of creativity or being creative, like, what does that mean for you?
What does it mean to be creative? Well, creativity comes in all forms and in like anything and everything that you can think of can be and will be creative to someone. Right? So for me to be creative, it's using a talent that I have or using something that I have or have worked on or will work on to not only benefit me or, benefit the people around me, but something that I can do that makes me feel better. So if I'm having a bad day, I'll pull out my little diary, right? And it's good to have a diary. Bless you.
Bless you. Yeah. Bye. I need that as a sound snippet.
Yeah. Just hit that on the button. I find that that's really cool for me to just open up and just draw. Doodle. It doesn't have to be what I'm feeling in the moment. Like if I'm angry or frustrated or stressed or anything like that, I'll just doodle. I'll draw like 18 different types of noses. Why? Just because I can. And I'm like, cool. I just refocused my energy into something positive. So that's what being creative is for me, I guess.
Nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, you said you're a DC fan.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to jump into some DC trivia.
God. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Bring it on.
All right. So I'm going to pick 6 questions
from
this list.
All right.
And let's see how you go.
Go easy, please.
Right.
There are people watching.
We will start with, what does DC stand for?
Okay. What does this DC stand for? I believe it's Detective Comics, but it used to be called Action Comics. Reason being is because the most famous comic from Action Comics is Superman holding a car about to hit somebody with, like, that's on the bottom right hand side of the page. It's him holding a car and it says Action Comics on top, but then I believe that they got bought out by DC, which was Detective Comics.
I'm very impressed that you know all that.
Thank God.
That's cool. All right. Second question. What is the true identity of Two-Face?
Harvey Dent. Or I should know this. He was a mayoral candidate before he was in multiple different ways scarred. One side, so Harvey Dent.
No, that's correct. Nice. All right.
Good Lord. I'm sweating.
2 out of 6.
Oh, good Lord. This is an exam.
What is the name of Batman's
Alfred Pennyworth.
Yeah.
But I believe he has a middle name. I don't know his middle name, but Alfred Pennyworth.
I don't even know his middle name. It's not. It's not on the answer list.
Oh, thank God! Yeah, Alfred Pennyworth, man. Cut it out. Cut that out. Do it again. 3, 2, 1, and action. Alfred Pennyworth. That's so, move on. Yeah.
Who has the lasso of truth?
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
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 Diana.
All right.
Yeah.
2 more. I'll try to make them a bit harder.
They have been hard already. All right.
What is Superman's birth name?
Kal-El.
Wow. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I thought his name was just Superman from birth.
Clark Kent is his name on planet Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 True.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a DC.
Yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine. Kal-El. And then his father's name was Jor-El.
Yeah. All right.
Played by Russell Crowe.
Nice. Nice. All right. Last question. What full-size dinosaur does Batman keep
T-Rex.
in the Batcave? What? How? like when do you even see that? Or like is that in the comics?
Yeah. So it's a big thing in his comics. So even if they're not telling you that it is the Batcave, there'll be 3 things in that little setting. So there's always going to be like a massive wall of computers.
Yeah.
There's always going to be this massive penny with Abraham Lincoln's face on it, I believe. And then there'll be a T-Rex.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where he got the T-Rex from, but I believe it was an animatronic that there was like this, I don't know who had it, but a villain kind of had these animatronic dinosaurs. And then Batman and Robin, I don't know who it was.
The Joker?
Robin? Dick Grayson?
I was like, was it the Joker who had the... Okay.
No, the Joker had the penny. Because I'm pretty sure he tried to squish Batman with it. Yeah. So he kept that as a memento. Yeah. Dinosaur.
Nice.
T-Rex.
Well done. 6 out of 6.
Let's keep going. This is the whole podcast now. I'm on a roll.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the things that I really want to do with the next so many episodes is really try to flip the script on how we look at and talk about our creative pursuits and work-life balance, like quote, work-life balance.
Yeah.
Because that's... Yeah,
tough.
It's quite interesting.
Very tough. Yeah.
It's a whole other topic in itself.
Super subjective, right? Super subjective, yeah.
But yeah, and like having creative outlets as a hobby and things that we can do that we're passionate about that we don't have to monetize, but then also how we create communities through those hobbies. Like you're saying with D&D, like it sounds like you've been part of creating this like really awesome, healthy community there. Some really cool people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love that, and it's really cool. And I really want to help encourage more people to step out and figure out what they're interested in and what they're creative about.
Yeah.
You know, as kids, when we're younger kids, we have so many different things we're passionate about or excited about.
I'm going to become an astronaut and a doctor and a ballerina and a dentist.
I wanted to be a professional soccer player, a chef, and something else.
Just cook up on the field, yeah.
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 I actually wanted, I think I mentioned this before, but me and a few friends in grade 7, 2 friends, we wanted to open up a restaurant called the 3 Musketeers.
Cute.
Anyway.
Cute.
But
good Lord. Yeah.
Then as we like go through school, we go through life.
Then you're like, oh, taxes.
Taxes, interest rates.
Yeah.
No.
Income tax, you're looking at, you're going crazy now.
But I think like a lot of those dreams, a lot of those passions, a lot of those things get shut down. And like not all at once, but just like bit by
slowly.
bit. It's like all those things we were super passionate about or keen about, we sort of forget and we sort of push to the side and get stuck in, you know, like go to school, go to uni, get a job, have a family, but
go home.
And like those things are important, but we sort of can sometimes push the things that are unique to us as a person and our personality and what makes us like switch on and become alive and excited to the side.
Yeah. No, I think there's a quote that kind of perfectly sums that up. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't mess it up. It's essentially the thing that makes us all the same is the fact that we're all different, right?
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that you and I have different interests
makes us
the
similar,
same, right? Because you're passionate about something, and for me, I'm like, cool, I'd like to learn about that passion from you. You love photography, you know? And I'm like, cool, that's awesome. I know nothing of cameras. I couldn't take a good photo if you paid me or if you had a gun to my head.
That's a lie. I've seen photos of your cat.
That's because he's photogenic, all right? That's because he's an absolute gift from God is why. And in the same way, you know, when I'm talking about D&D, you know, like you try to listen to what I'm saying. And I'm like, cool, I appreciate that. Because then it's not a give and take. It's a not 50-50. You're giving 100%. I'm giving you 100%. We're not meeting halfway. You know, I think kids nowadays, or I say kids nowadays, I'm like, I'm 80. I'm 23, by the way. Just the world kind of shuts you down a lot. And the world is, you get taught to shut other people down because of it. You're like, oh, I can't be a dentist, so you can't be a dentist.
Yeah,
You're stupid.
We project onto other people. We were told we couldn't, start a business, or we couldn't do this, or we couldn't, be a good painter. So then someone else starts doing it, and we're like, that never work. Sucks, you can't do that.
Yeah, yeah. Like, Picasso did better when he was 15. And you're like, all right, man, but I'm trying. I'm like, no. Well, my friend says that I was bad at painting, so you're not good at painting. I'm like, whoa, chill out, Fred.
But it's real. It happens. Like even adults in professional work culture. And I'm really wanting to try to be part of, helping flip that script and helping really push people into having a better understanding of themselves and what they're interested in.
Yeah.
And I've heard someone say it, I can't remember word by word, but that a lot of the things that we were interested in as kids, the things that we were passionate about, can reveal, what our, dream job or like ideal path in life might be.
Yeah.
Now, obviously that's quite broad because as a kid, especially when you're very young, you're interested in everything.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think there's certain things when you look back in your life that you sort of be like, oh yeah, like I loved doing that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Or I really enjoyed that. And you can sort of see when you spend some time looking back, like where you stopped.
Or what happened to make you stop.
Yeah.
That one comment that happened and you're like, yeah, maybe this is stupid.
Yeah.
Like I want to be an astronaut. Well, it takes a lot of effort. Like, yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And it may not be an astronaut, but you may have been really passionate about being an astronaut because you were amazed about space.
Yeah.
And you love space.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. And I'm also really trying to help encourage people with this podcast to dream big, to think big. So a question for you is, do you have, by the way, just to preface that, dreaming big is subjective and thinking big is subjective. For one person, it could be their big dream for their life could be having a happy, healthy family and having kids. For someone else, it could be building a business. For someone else, it could be traveling to every country in the world or traveling to 3 countries.
Yeah.
So it's very subjective to each person.
Yeah, absolutely.
But do you have a bit of a dream or a vision for your life for what you're wanting to do? Is there something within that you want to share?
Yeah. So where do I see myself in 5 years? No. So a big thing that I want to do is, when I get my own house, is to outfit my garage and make that a private powerlifting gym.
Yeah.
So I worked so hard to get this, like the handle on Instagram where it says Tribe of Judah. Reason being, sorry, that's just a plug.
Tribe of Judah.
Yeah. Please don't follow me. Please don't follow me. Like the reason being is because I want to call that the tribe.
Yeah.
And like I've already got like a neon sign in my head and everything. Reason being, a lot of people don't get into powerlifting because they think they're too weak, or they think they're going to get too bulky, or they think they're not strong enough, so on and so forth. You're like, well, no, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. You just need someone to sit down with you and coach you through it.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be able to do that from the comfort of my own home and to bring people into my house to be like, hey, this is as safe as you're going to ever be.
Yeah.
Because then that goes out to the other gym that they go to, or so on and so forth. Big thing that I want for my life is to become a youth pastor. That's always been like a goal for me. So currently those 2 things. Yeah. That and to, I don't know, get long hair. Really?
You've got pretty long hair already.
It's not that long, okay? It's curly, so it just like springs back up. Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's really cool. Thanks for sharing. And thanks for coming on and, answering some questions, having some fun and, having a chat about, creativity and...
No, thanks for having me. Yeah.
What it means to you. I'm really hoping that over these episodes, I can just try to sort of use these stories, use your stories, your perspective and people's perspectives to help connect others in meaningful ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
To ultimately help them change their world.
Yeah.
Just sort of be like that older brother who's like speaking into people's lives through their phone.
Yeah, through their phone.
I don't know.
This is an Optus ad. What's going on? Is that where the plug's coming from? No.
That's how I'm making money. No.
That's how you're paying for the lights, yeah.
But there's one quote that I just want to end on.
Yeah.
It's by my boy Teddy. Theodore Teddy Roosevelt.
I was just going to say, like Roosevelt? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
26th president of the USA. He says, do what you can with what you have where you are. Believe you can and you're halfway there. It's hard to fail, but it is worse to have never tried and succeeded.
Yeah.
And the second one I want to add on to that is by John C. Maxwell.
Oh, I thought you were going to say John Cena. I was so
No.
and I was like, you can't see me. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's powerful. Sorry.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
It's one is too small a number to achieve greatness. No accomplishment of real value has ever been achieved by a human being working alone. Just an interesting thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on that, like everyone's like, oh, Alexander the Great was fantastic. I'm like, yeah, but he wasn't fighting everyone himself, was he?
Yeah.
Or like Genghis Khan was really cool. I'm like, yeah, he was, but he wasn't fighting everyone. But to kind of like sum those quotes up, I don't know where I heard this from, but in terms of being creative, in terms of stepping out there and actually just doing the best you can, a quote that always sticks with me is if I shoot for the moon and I miss, I still end up in the stars. Right?
Love that. Yeah.
So I don't mind being part of the stars. Like I'm shooting and I'm aiming for the moon.
Yeah.
And if I just miss it by a little bit, that's fine because I'm still gonna end up with the stars.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we will end on that. But thank you for coming on.
Not a problem, man. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me, Elisha.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope you're enjoying these episodes as I try to help people share their stories and inspire others. Now, if you have an answer to what creativity means to you, please send us a voice recording and I might feature it in one of the upcoming episodes. See you next time on the For the Creatives podcast.